right. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
I have already had a good time with you with all the prep work and the conversations that we had before, but I wanted to circle back to the main purpose of why we're here. And what this is SmileTalk with Jacob, where we bring on masters of their crafts to speak to how we help people develop and enhance their self-esteem and confidence. You do a fantastic job of expressing yourself, and with that comes the confidence that people are able to see within yourself. And I thought it was super funny that yesterday, I think it was, you posted on your Instagram and you rolled some dice. And it was like the 111, and it said, it signifies confidence within yourself and motivates your own strength and decision making when opportunities are sent your way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. I really like the angel number thing because you take what you need from it. And like on a daily basis, now that I have that, I kind of like, I focus on something in the morning and then I roll because I'm like, all right, am I in the right headspace today? Like the other day, I was thinking of something creatively and then I rolled and it was like it, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was 333 and it was like you are making a conscious decision or something. It was like about like cutting back on drinking and I rolled it and it was like, yep. Okay. I was like, okay, I'm thinking the right things. Like I believe in stuff like that. So it's like very fun to take what I need from that.
Yeah. And you and I don't know each other super well, which is what excites me so much about having the opportunity to do this. You and I are getting to know each other through this conversation, and everyone who'll be watching will get to know you in the same scope of them being able to essentially ask these questions. So with that being said, I wanted to know, who is Rebecca Maxwell?
So I am originally from Cleveland. Love everything Cleveland. And I've always been super extroverted. That's just always been in my nature. I've always been, a part of sports, a part of choirs, a part of anything that like is interacting with people. And I feel like that is kind of my whole focus in life is human connection. There's nothing that I love more than connecting with other people and people that are different than me and learning from other people. Is really important. And I feel like the opportunities that I have had have given me that, being in the service industry for 12 years now. Yeah. I've met so many people and built so many connections with people that, don't even live here and they come back to Cleveland and they come find whatever bar I'm working at or, like just even connecting on social media with people that I met once traveling and now I know their whole life and like, just like support each other from a distance. So like, I feel like that's really like who I am at a core, is really just trying to connect with others, and like have them feel like they have someone who's not judging and things like that. Like all my friends know, like, you come at me, I'm going to tell you my opinion. I'm going to do it with no judgment, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like, that's just like who I want to be known as,
One of the things that I've always been jealous, in regards to who I see you, let's say spending your time with or being around are people closer to our age. Mm-hmm. You within the service industry, especially at a bar as fun as Velvet Dog, have the opportunity to meet so many like-minded people, those with energy and those that, will feed off your energy and then you can feed off of theirs.
Yeah, definitely.
How long have you been at Velvet Dog?
It'll be 6 years in June. Yeah, I moved downtown 6 years ago, about 6.5 years ago, and I immediately started working there because I was like, I need money. Yeah, like, right. I can't spending all my money on the weekends. I need to be making it. And I still wanted to be part of the party. Yeah. Still wanted to be able to see my friends. Yeah. And that's what it's been. I still feel like I'm going out, but I'm not, and I'm making money instead of spending it. Yeah. So, and then, connecting with other people and creating these relationships where like now I have a lot of friends that I actually like met at Velvet Dog. Yeah. And now we're great friends and like even like business connections and stuff like that. So it's like blossomed into this beautiful thing.
Well, it's every bit of what connected us essentially, because I saw Colin's photos of the Velvet Dog stuff that he's been doing for you guys. And then he goes, after he's on, he's like, you need to get Rebecca on here. She would be amazing.
I love Colin.
Yeah, he's amazing. And shout out Lip Bodega. That was the sponsor of Tristan's last episode. That's so fun.
Right? All the connections, everyone like, that's why I love that human connection, because everyone's supporting each other's ventures, no matter what, like, you know, they pertain to. Like, we support each other all the time. So,
well, and it's kind of like, why wouldn't we all support each other?
Right. We don't lose anything.
Exactly.
We might not gain something from it. That's the thing, is you have to be willing to support people without expecting to gain something from it. I think that's what like support really is.
100%. So is there any way specifically that we can provide support for, you know, Velvet Dog, Colin, or just your time at the bar? Like, what can we do to make things more fun for you in that portion of your life?
I mean, I feel like just like with social media and everything is, you know, just posting when you go there, or like, you know, reposting things that we post, or like stuff like that. Just getting like the talk about like getting in there, and like with the rooftop being open, like coming in, taking a quick video on the rooftop, like someone's going to see it and be like, I want to go there, you know?
And that's not by asking for a Tito's and vodka.
Yes, definitely not. And please don't ask me to surprise you, because I will not.
Those TikToks that you were making there are so much fun.
Thank you.
Are you having fun doing that yourself?
I actually am. Like, at first I was very uncomfortable. I didn't know what I was doing. My boss really wanted us to do them, and you know, and I was open to it. I was like, all right, like if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be me. Yeah. I'm going to explore this, you know, whatever. And I look back at my first TikToks, and like just the quality and everything is so different now, but it's opened this door now too, where people come into Velvet Dog because they see my TikToks.
100%.
And like, I never know what to say. People will be like, oh my God, I follow you on TikTok. I'm like, thank you. I never know. Yeah. And then there's so many people, it's usually men. They're like, be careful. You don't want to be on her TikTok. Like, and I'm like, I'm not that bad, but like, right. I hope you're learning something about bar etiquette though. Like it's partially just fun to poke fun about your job. You know, people get really butthurt on TikTok when bartenders talk about like bad things at their job, because we're supposed to love every aspect of it. It's very interesting to see the comments. I'm like, I can tell who's never worked in the service industry, because it's all jokes. Yes. Like, I love my job. There's little things in everybody's job that they don't like. Yeah. It's just people feel like that since I'm like serving them, that I am not entitled to like complain. I don't really know. But there has been a lot of support as well, like where people are in the service industry. It's like, it's a back and forth in the comments. Yeah. Like, but everything I say is just jokes. I'm never actually rude to people that order a Tito's and vodka. I make a joke of it. Like, I laugh with them. Like, it happens all the time. Yeah. But it's fun to see like people's reactions to those TikToks, because I feel like they are learning something about being at a bar. Mm-hmm. Like, if I can teach you how to be a better patron, I love that.
Well, and it's like they are respectful to you, you are respectful to them. It's that energy aspect to it. It's what's going to lead to more funds and honestly just a more pleasurable experience.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Now, do you have signature drinks?
So my specific bar, we have 3 levels at Velvet. Okay. Technically like 4, but so I have my own little bar right next to the rooftop. Yeah. So we've kind of been playing around with stuff. Like I did like an entire Christmas bar, and we had drink specials for that, and then we had like some Valentine's Day specials, some like March specials, and I think that they're kind of working on transforming that bar to more of like a loungy area with like specialty cocktails, which like I'm excited about, but also like we'll see how it goes, you know, if it'll work or not. It's a trial and error. But I'm also like not super into the mixology part of bartending. Yeah. Like I respect people that make craft cocktails so much. I don't want to take 15 minutes to make a cocktail. I want to bust out 100 vodka sodas in 15 minutes. Yes. Like that's just the kind of bartender I am. And everybody is different, like personal preference. Yeah. But I love high volume. I love fast pace. Like I just want to like go. Yeah. So
I think that there's something special about having the opportunity to create a simple signature drink. Yeah. Barstool, I didn't realize this, but has initiated their what's it called? Oh, the transfusion. Yeah, so I went to what's it called? It's like Welcome to the Farm.
Oh, yeah.
Down in the Flats. And it's just grape juice and ginger ale in a can.
Oh.
And then they just put like whatever vodka that you want in it.
Interesting.
But it's like super simple because
Yeah.
all they do is pour in the vodka and pour in. So, but
Right.
it's
But then
kinda
it's
like,
still a cocktail.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's something that at least it's not unique to them by any means, but like you said, people are coming to Velvet Dog essentially for your service and to see you. Yeah. So it's like, how cool would that be if, it's like if you had your own drink or if like Velvet coined it, that'd be so much fun.
I'll have to tell my boss that.
100%. Yeah, just clip this part and then send it right to him. Oh, that's so fun. And you're totally right about the service industry. A lot of people don't understand exactly what it is to help someone either achieve their goals, look out for their best interests, or just give them a pleasant experience. Yeah. So the opportunity that you've had to be able to be in the service industry is going to help you and make your experiences and other people's experiences with you so much better.
Absolutely. And like, I was actually just thinking about it this morning because I was thinking about like, what are we going to talk about? What's he going to ask me? And just thinking about like, try to get my thoughts in order. And I kind of had this like epiphany where I never really like wanted to go to college. Like I never wanted to work a 9-to-5. That's nothing against people that work 9-to-5s. People get mad at me when I say that. I'm like, that just wasn't my path. I never really knew what I wanted to do. But the doors that have opened because of me being in the service industry, because of bosses that I've worked with previously, like even just coworkers that I've worked with, like those doors have just opened themselves now to the things that I do want to do. And like, it's a very untraditional way that I've gone about being successful, I guess, but it's working, like they say, it's all about who you know. Mm-hmm. It kind of is sometimes, especially in my position. Like I've been blessed to work at so many great places and have so many different coworkers, and just like the support that I've gotten from the bar industry has been really great.
Well, Velvet Dog, at least from some of like the pictures and videos that I've seen, has helped you bring together what is it, the girls' room?
Yeah.
How is that? Talk about that. What is that?
I just started it probably like last month. I've had this idea for 5 years. I've been sitting on it. I am very much an idea person, which is part of my downfall sometimes. I have 1,000,001 good ideas, but I am not a doer. Yeah. So I'm working on being a doer. First step is knowing that you're not a doer. So I started the girls' room. Basically, the goal is to just connect women in our 20s, 30s to make friendships, make connections, and whatever you want to take from it. I just want you to meet other people. A lot of women my age say it's really hard to make friends as an adult. Mm-hmm. I don't ever find that to be the case. That's just not, it's just my personality. I meet a new friend every night at the bar. I'm like, oh my God, we should follow each other on Instagram. And then I know this girl, So I started having parties when I first moved downtown. I had this beautiful countertop, and I love a big charcuterie board. It's like my signature thing. And I was like, I want to have a party. I want all my friends to be friends. I want to not have to pick and choose who I get to hang out with when I get to hang out with them. I want everyone to know each other and like each other. And it worked. So I started with my first wine and cheese party. I provide the food. You bring a bottle of wine, come hang out, whatever. Great time. So now I've been doing that for 6 years. I have that party, and then I have a Valentine's Day party. And really the whole reason is just to connect the people that I know, because I have wonderful people in my life. And to just see like that blossom, and I see girls hanging out without me. I'm like, you met at my party. Like, this is so cool. And I knew I could do it on a bigger scale. And there's a lot of people that need that. There's a lot of people that aren't going to go out of their way to make these friendships. And if we're all here for the same reason, it's a little less intimidating, I think. So I initially wanted it to be based around fitness classes because going to a fitness class for your first time is really intimidating. So my thought was, if it's everybody's first time, less intimidating, you can bring a friend with you, and maybe your friend doesn't like the class, but maybe you meet someone that liked the class, and now you have someone to go to that class with, and you have that connection and that friendship built. So now it's grown to different concepts. Like I have a different concept and different location for every event, but the feedback has been overwhelmingly like unreal. Like I have had so much support so early. We had our first event at Velvet Dog. It was a sip and swap. So basically people donated their clothes, and then I set them up on racks and everything. You come, you look through the racks, you go home with new clothes.
Yeah.
So it went really well. Our first event had like almost 30 girls. So that was awesome. And then I had a bunch of leftover clothes. And so those are all going to get donated to a women's shelter. So I kind of want every event to also have some type of charity aspect to it where, we're helping the community. I want to involve small businesses, primarily women owned, but I'm not against men most of the time. But I do want to just really support the women. I think that women supporting women is such a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. So, and it really just, it gives me so much like fulfillment. So I'm really excited to see where it goes. Our next event is on the 27th. So of this month what is it? April? Yeah, April. Oh, and then May 7th is the third one. So
holy cow. Yeah. So what is this next one's theme and how does it work?
So it is at the West Bank Golf Club. I am friends with one of the owners' fiance. And so right when I launched the girls' room, they reached out and they were like, we would love to have an event here. And I was like, okay, like this is great. Like just like initially starting off, you're like, how is this going to work? Like if is it going to work or not? So I was like, yes, absolutely. So basically it's a golf simulator venue. They have a full bar. It's really cool. I went there the other night just to kind of like see what it is, get some content, like get some buzz around it. But basically girls are just going to come. They can golf. They can chat. There's pool tables. There's all types of stuff, just like interactive, but like there's no pressure to like do a certain thing when you're there. Yeah. But just to come open-minded, connect with someone, bring a friend, make a friend. But I already have like almost 40 tickets sold.
Damn.
So I'm really excited for the second event. I'm like very, very excited about it. So I think it'll be really fun and it's different. Like, I think with the golf aspect, like I am not great at golf, like, but it's something fun to try, something different than, I also don't want it to just like be, let's go to a bar and have a drink. Like, let's do different things. Like we're getting to that point where like, just drinking at the bar is not fun anymore. So like we need activities, we need like things to do. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really fun.
And now how do people get tickets?
So there is a link in the Instagram bio, like the girls' room Instagram for the Eventbrite. And there's like tickets for both of the upcoming events that you can click on. And tickets are only $10 and it gets you like a raffle ticket and your first drink. Yeah. And then you go from there and gets you access to the golf bays and everything. So
on behalf of the girls, on behalf of, other events that you may put on that include like guys or just, like anyone, I'll say thank you for them because you and Natalie from Cocky's Bagels, it seems like you two are always putting on fun events that people can go to. And Cleveland is one hell of a city. And to see that we're actively working to continue to build it up is so important. Because, I don't know, like I've been in Chicago a bunch of times and there's never not something to do in Chicago. Yeah. And anywhere that you go is going to be what you make it out to be. But you are making it out to be something. Yeah.
Just want people to have fun and, especially like post-COVID, everyone's kind of a little more reserved and wanting to stay home. Even myself, like I am just kind of like, I just want to be home. But I also know that like we only have one life to live. So like we have to do things. Like we need to like get out there and like have fun. And even if it's just like there's another girl group that I want to connect with, they just do like, they go out and they walk. They just walk around in the summer. Like we're eventually going to collab and like do something with that. Like just something to get people out and moving and like something positive in their life,
Yeah. And getting out, being positive, and spreading all of that joy amongst people is every bit of what you're doing through TikTok, what you're doing through Instagram. Now, have you always had this affinity with social media, or how did all of this like come to fruition and just like pop off and put you in a place to be able to share every bit of what you do?
Yeah, it's so funny. At least like every other week, I say out loud, I'm like, I've always been this way. Like I have always like, I was at MySpace, like Facebook, like I had my digital camera everywhere. I always loved taking pictures. 1 year in high school, they actually asked me if they could use pictures from my Facebook because they didn't have a lot of pictures. And I'm always taking pictures of everyone. Like I like to remember things. And so I've always been very like, taking that content, now we call it, and posting it and just having it. So it kind of, like Instagram kind of came naturally to me. And Instagram still, everybody hates Instagram. It's still my favorite.
Yeah.
I prefer pictures to video. I've gotten more accustomed to video, but I still have work to do with like comfortability of like talking to the camera. And like sometimes, I feel cringy, but like at the same time, I'm like, people like the cringiness. They don't care, like I'm not, it's once I feel like I'm trying too hard, then I like don't want to do it, but I try not to force it. It's just things that I like that, and if you don't like it, that's totally fine. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to anything, but like this is just things that I like to share with the world. And I'm naturally an oversharer. So, which I think helps. Like at least you know what you're getting, I think. So it's just it's come naturally.
You hit on a huge point. You refer to it as cringiness, but truthfully, what it is authenticity. Mm-hmm. There are a bunch of these videos that I'm watching on YouTube that specifically talk about how the next wave is authenticity itself. And unless you sit in front of a camera talking to that camera, you don't know what it's like until you experience that yourself. I put myself in front of the camera and, it's like when you're doing it for the first time and you don't really know what to expect, you're like, oh, I think I did a really good job. And then like I listen back and I realize that I'm enunciating. It's like, oh, friends be like, you don't talk like that. And to your point, it's a comfortability thing and you learn and you feel more comfortable the more that you do it.
They say to get more comfortable with it is to basically act like you're FaceTiming a friend. That's how you're supposed to like go about talking to the camera. And I don't know if I actually like think that. I just think I just talk like how I would be talking here, like, but I do, like, I will re-record things like 3 times because I was like, oh, that sounded bad, or I said something I didn't want to say it that way. Like, it's definitely like a learning process. But like once you feel like you're like, you see these girls and it seems seamless, like like the Alex Earls and all that, like they just like, it seems like it's just like that to them.
It's like it's you and them.
Yeah. So getting to that point is like working through that uncomfortableness and then realizing you're like, some people are going to talk about me. But I don't care. Like, I don't care. This is like what I want to be doing. Like, it's really not for anybody else, but it is for me. Like, I watch my own videos more than anybody, I'm sure. Like, yes. I love going through my own content. I'm like, oh, that was fun. Like, but you just have to kind of let go of like that insecurity and just like let it figure itself out.
Yes. We had photo albums, or our parents had photo albums, and now we have these digital photo albums. Right. I'm like, I started this podcast back in January, and I said to myself, I know the consistency that I can hold up, and that's, one episode every 2 weeks. And, brass tacks, it's conversations between people about self-esteem, self-confidence, how they express themselves. But what the little like guilty pleasure that I have in regards to it is I am building a portfolio of conversations with the wonderful people that I can continue to look back at until, this will be on the internet for forever.
Right. I love that aspect of social media because I really I have over 100 albums on Facebook of photos. Like, just because that's how many pictures I naturally take. And like looking back, I can look at my middle school pictures. I can look at my high school pictures. Like I have those memories. And that's the same thing with like St. Patrick's Day. I went back and I looked at my St. Patrick's Day TikToks from last year, which is when I really started to embrace TikTok with St. Patrick's Day. And like when I changed my hair color and like all that, like just seeing, like, I look back to those and then I look at the ones that I'm making now and I'm like, look at that progress. And like, again, I like to look back and I'm like, I remember everything about that time period of my life. Like I know who I was hanging out with, who, like, you know, just like it takes you back in time, but like in real time, you're like watching yourself. So it's really cool.
Do you feel that the content that you're producing now that may be more higher quality is more time consuming to produce because you've gotten better?
With the bar stuff, not really.
Okay.
Those are pretty much, those are pretty easy. I just, you know, do the voiceover and like I'll save them and I try to like look over, but I do like staff questions. Those ones are really fun. Yep. Those ones take a little bit longer because I have to like put everybody's name on it and like arrange them so that it makes sense. So like in some of the videos, if everybody's answer is me, I'm going to put myself in the last frame because everyone's wondering who is Rebecca. Like if everyone says Jocelyn, I'm putting Jocelyn at the end so that they watch the whole video. So there's like little strategies that's when like the editing and stuff comes in. And I would love to be able to do like the day in my life ones. That to me is so time consuming. And I forget to record things, and then you have to go through and edit it. And so, like, I'm not there yet, but I respect the people that are able to do those videos. Like, I think it's very impressive. But I try to keep my editing to a minimal because I don't like that part of it. I don't really love the back end of things. So, and I only want to do it because I enjoy it. Like, I don't want it to be because I have to.
Exactly.
I enjoy it. I want to do it.
Yes, because you're right. There's so much to the back end stuff. I mean, the only thing that like people from here are seeing is a conversation between you and I. But in all reality, as I'm sure Tristan knows too, what it is the visual editing. There's the audio editing, and then there's the uploading, and then there's the clipping and the editing associated with that. So it's like there's so much.
Yeah, and like now, like, you know, people we'll talk about these content creators and stuff because they've never done it. But like it is a full-time job. Like it's time consuming. Like they have to record a million things throughout the day and then they have to break them down, edit them. You know, you have to get approval from brands and stuff like that. Like it is a full-time job for sure.
And to your point with filming a lot of the back end stuff that people don't see, if you were to get B-roll of like yourself walking across the street, like that means that person had to set up that camera, had to walk back, had to walk through, get the shot, and then had to walk back to pick up what it was. Right. All for what? Like a 3-second transitionary B-roll?
Yeah. And like, but you have to do that stuff because it just makes the video so much better. Yeah. Like I have so many contraptions. Like this morning I recorded a video and I don't really do like product-based videos that much just because that's something that I'm not super comfortable with yet. But I'm trying to get more comfortable with it because there are things that I really love that I do want to highlight. So I have this toothpaste that I really love and I wanted to make a video. I'm probably going to watch it back and I'm going to hate it. But like I had to go get my little light, my little clip-on light. I had to switch my phone case to the one that suctions onto my mirror. Like just like I always have a tripod with me. Like you always have to have like something to help you get that content. It does not come naturally. Like I'm not just handing someone my phone like, hey, can you take a quick video of me? Like
I would say my favorite content that I've seen you push out are the try-ons with like the jumping and like the bobbing. Oh, those are amazing.
Those ones, at least once a week, somebody imitates that to me. Like when they're talking to me, they'll like literally do the jump. And I'm like, it works. Like that content works. Yes. And sometimes it feels really redundant to me. Like, and I try new things. I try to find different transition videos because I want to highlight the clothes. Like I want people to see it. And especially like if people aren't from Cleveland, I do more than Cleveland clothing. So like I have to push it out somewhere and TikTok's the best way to do that. So those ones are really fun, but those are like really, really time consuming. It used to take me, at least like 30, 45 minutes to make one of those videos.
I don't doubt it.
Now I have it down where it takes me 5 minutes. I know exactly what number I have to put it on. Like, I lay the outfits out before, but it's still a lot of work. I'm taking all the clothes out of my closet, then I have to put them back, and like, there's a lot that goes into it, but those videos are my favorite too. I love them.
Yeah, to your point, you've mastered exactly the process needed to keep it from being that 45 minutes every single time.
Right.
And you do this to highlight the clothes that you're making. So talk more to exactly that.
Yeah, so I started to One Thrift in 2019.
Okay.
August of 2019. I've always been a thrifter. My grandma taught me to thrift really early on. And I love bargain shopping. Like, I love the hunt. I love, like, nothing makes me happier than, like, finding something that's worth $50 and paying $5 for it. Like, the adrenaline is like, oh, love it. So I found myself with all these vintage Cleveland sports clothes. And, like, I love having them in my own closet. But then they're piling up. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to wear all these.
Right.
And I was like, how, I thought about just, like, reselling and doing, like, Instagram closet sale and like whatever. And it kind of started off that way. And it, people were interested, but I was like, how do I make these cooler and more valuable? Because like, I could sell these t-shirts for $5, like, but I'm not really making a profit off of them. And so that's when I started the bleach. I started literally only bleaching t-shirts, and it has grown into so much more than that now over the last 4 years. But I remember I bleached my first shirt. I still have a picture of it in my phone that I sent to my friend. I was like, this actually looks really cool.
Yeah.
And put them up. I think I put maybe like 10 shirts up. They all sold in the first day. And I was like, all right, looks like we're doing this.
We got something.
Yeah. So then it just kind of grew. And I love it. Like, the whole point of To One Thrift also is that uniqueness, and that you're not wearing the same thing as anybody else. Like, there's 1,000,001 t-shirt companies in Cleveland, and they all do great product. I love the t-shirt companies here, and I have bought so many of them over the years. Yeah. But I want a little more spice. I want to stand out a little bit more. And I feel like in the fashion world of sports, there's clearly a man running these teams' pro shops.
Literally.
Because it's awful. Like, if y'all need to hire someone, I'm available, because I don't want a pink jersey. I don't want sparkles. I want to look fashionable and chic, but still, like, I do still care about the sport. Right. I still care about the team. I'm not here, like, just to be like, I'm a cute little girl. But, like, I want to look good while doing it. So it's really fun because now I have a rotating closet of sports clothes, and sometimes I'll save something. I'll be like, all right, I'm going to wear that first. Yeah. And it's fun because I can do that because everything's thrifted already anyway, and everything's getting washed before it goes out. Like, and people like are very into thrifting now. So it's been more than I ever thought it would be. I'm so lucky. I've had ups and downs for sure, and there's been times where I don't want to do it anymore. But I'm like back on like the upswing of like, I love this, and I'm having a lot of fun with like Guardians season this year. So last season was really hard because it was the first year we were the Guardians. Yeah. So with the thrifting aspect, I can't find anything.
Exactly.
And I just didn't have any creativity. Like, I didn't really know what to do with it. But this year I feel like I've got it down, and people are responding well to it. Baseball stuff has been doing good, and I want to go to games. Like, I just want to be like out there. Like, I have new systems where like if someone compliments my outfit, I'm like, I used to just hand them a card. I'll be like, here's a discount code. Like, go hit the website up. Like, if I see someone wearing my clothes, I have something. Like, on opening day we went out, and I made these little things. So it's like a coupon for like $10 off. If I see you wearing To One Thrift, I'm going to come up to you.
No way.
And it's not only a chance to gain more business, but to meet the people that are supporting my business in the first place.
100%.
So, which is like, again, like that connection. Like, I have people that I have met through the business that are like great friends of mine now. And it all started off because they bought a shirt from me once and just kept buying things. So it's been really cool. And I love what I do. Like, I'm very, very lucky. I never really thought that I was going to go into fashion, or else I would have probably tried to go to school for it. But also, I'm kind of glad that I didn't. Yeah. But I just made a video the other day on Instagram. I was just like talking, and I was like, I should have known in high school, because I was always the one that was designing like our team gear. I was always the one who like I had to pick it. Like I need to control this. Like I know it's cute. Like whatever. I would be the one who cut up all of our shirts and tied the sides of them and made them more cute and girly. And like I think that in the world of sports, there is such a pushback on female involvement, and we're saying F that. Like we're here and we care, we're here, and we can do it our way. So it's really fun to see like people embrace that, you know.
So if people wanted to purchase or see what it is that you have, is it the website itself that is where people can go to make the purchases?
Yeah, so everything can be purchased online. I do pop-up shops, and I'll always post about them. Like I have one this Thursday. It is at a place called The Collab, but it is posted on the Instagram and everything. So when I do drops, I will list everything, and then I will post on Instagram, you know, a picture of all the pieces, and then you can scroll through and see what's available, if we have your size and your style. So when we first started, it was kind of like a bloodbath, like, because I was on a smaller scale, so I wasn't making as much as I couldn't produce as much as I am now.
Right.
So it was like everything would sell out like that day. Like there was that like need to be ready and on it. And I that was fun, but I am glad that I can like provide a little bit more options now and stuff like that. But yeah, like pop-up shops are fun. They're a lot of work, especially by myself. It's just a lot to do, but they're always worth it. And I always meet people who don't really use social media and never heard about me. So now I have a new customer. Yeah. So it's fun. I would love eventually to have a storefront.
Yes.
That's a dream, but we'll see. That, you know, I got to make sure I'm ready. I don't want to jump into anything I'm not ready for. And I really love my freedom, so, you know.
So are you just operating this all out of your place?
Yeah, so
I love that.
I have a one-bedroom apartment, but I kind of have a studio apartment because my one bedroom is a full office. My bed is in my living room, which has worked out great. I don't mind it at all. It actually helps because the sunlight in my living room, I wake up so early now. Yeah. So it kind of helps. But when I didn't have that as an office, there would just be clothes everywhere. And I host a lot. I have a lot of people over all the time. So I'm like, my house is a mess. I'm sorry, but like I run a business out of here. Yeah. So now I can at least like have it tucked away. Like my office is a hot mess right now, but you know, it's fine. No one's going to go in there. Yeah. But it's been a game changer having that space. Like having space to just like, if I need to leave it, I can. And it's not giving me extra anxiety. Like it's not making me feel cluttered. So I'm very, very lucky for that.
Every bit of what you just spoke about continues to prove the point that, you know, you've always been that person to do exactly what you're doing. So do you have, what's next for you?
I don't really know. You know, I'm trying at this point to kind of tie all of my things in together so it just is one big, I don't know, creative hub, I guess. I'm just one big creator. Yeah. I don't necessarily like just want to focus on content creation or just on clothes or just the events. They all tie into each other and help each other. But I always say I want to, which I think everybody does, I think this is like the real American dream, is to do as little amount of work as possible and make as much money as possible and like enjoy life. Like if I'm not enjoying it, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to, you know, sit at a desk because I'm told to. I'm going to, even if like One Thrift were to go down, I already have a backup plan. I already know like, and it's always going to be something creative, you know.
Do people get what you do? Do they understand it? Do they question? Do they like just support? Or where is everyone's mind at? I
think like younger people, yes, totally get it. But like when I talk to like my parents' friends and stuff, it's very interesting to try to explain, especially like the social media aspect. And like I get like brand deals and like people pay me to go shop at their store and like stuff like that. Explaining it to people, they're like, oh, wow, like that's so cool. I'm like, I know, isn't it great? Like I'm very lucky. But I feel like for the most part, people like our age kind of get it. And like I've been doing a few like the business for a while, and like I kind of try to share as much as possible so that, you know, there aren't that many questions, but sometimes, yeah.
Because And it's like my parents were asking me, they're like, oh, so who are you having on the podcast this week? I'm like, Rebecca Maxwell. And then they're like, oh, like, what does she do? And part of it for me was just like, I get it with what you do. But for me, it's like hard to put it into words.
Right. Yeah.
And more importantly, words that like my parents would understand.
Right. Yeah. Like I've been trying to kind of explain to my dad lately, like with, you know, he kind of gets the clothing thing. Like he gets it now. But it took him a while to like even understand that people wanted that there was a draw for that I don't think he really understood like the thrifting aspect of it and like why it makes it more desirable and stuff like that. So he's been learning a lot with that. And now with the event thing, we were talking about it the other day, and he understands it, but he doesn't really grasp why it's important because it's not something that's geared towards him. So it's hard to explain to people that like aren't necessarily your clientele or like the people that you are doing it for. He's very much trying to understand the social media stuff because he is very like, he just got a cell phone like 4 years ago.
What?
Yeah, very against all technology and stuff like that. So, which is surprisingly, he's very supportive of it now. Like, it's very strange. But yeah, like trying to be like, yeah, like I have a brand deal tonight. I had one yesterday. And like, I'm like, oh yeah, this company is basically giving me a free service to post about it or paying me to come do something so that I post about it because people, and this sounds weird, but like people listen to me and like people see that and say like, oh, well, she likes that. I might like that. So like trying to explain that stuff is interesting because like I'm a nobody. Like, you know.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
I would not say that at all.
I like, you know, everyone has the opportunity to like do content creation and stuff like that. And I've always like, when people come up to me and they're like, oh my God, you're like a celebrity. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not. I don't feel that way about myself at all. Like, I have a really hard time with the term influencer, just because I don't feel that way. And I feel like that almost puts me in like a little box of like who I am. And like, I don't know. It's a very strange thing to kind of navigate, the whole like influencer, content creator, like all the followers. Like when people ask me how many followers I have, I'm like, I get weird and I'm like, well, I have like 80,000 followers on TikTok, but like, cause I never want to feel like I'm bragging. Like right. I'm just very lucky that this is my life, you know?
Yeah. So it's one thing for, you know, parents, grandparents, people that are older than us not being able to understand. But then it may be very well another for people our age to understand. Jada, who we had on 2 episodes ago, she said, you know, I'll go on these dates with people and I'll tell them, okay, I own my own clothing brand, and then I will travel all over the country to do these Hollywood movie sets. And at first they'll think that like it's cool, but then they never get to a point of actually understanding it. And it's almost as if that understanding then leads to some bit of a disconnect amongst where that like relationship could go. Yes. So how has what you're doing either enhanced, impacted, or affected your dating life? So
I always, if someone comes up to me and asks for my number, I am always going to put my first and last name every single time because it is in us to stalk. You're going to go look me up. Yeah. And I want you to. I want you to go look. And if that is something that you do not feel comfortable with, then you already know. Yeah. You're already presented with the information that I have to give. Because it is not comfortable for everybody. Not everybody wants someone who is in the spotlight, or not spotlight, but like, you know, who puts themselves out there that much. So I make a conscious effort to like put my first and last name, go look, feel it out. Some people get really intimidated by it. Some people just don't like it. And that's totally fine. Like you don't have to be okay with social media. That's not like, it's normal for us now, but it wasn't always that way, and not everybody feels that way. So especially with how open I am, like I always tell men, I said, don't look at my Twitter. You're going to get your own feelings hurt because I say wild things on Twitter. Like I just say whatever comes to my brain, and Twitter is a different place for me, social media wise. It's my most freeing place. And it's so funny when I do meet people and they follow me on Twitter and like they ask me on a date, and I'm like, all right, well, he follows me on Twitter, so like he knows what he's getting himself into, because like, I don't know. But people that constantly bring it up when I, like, if I'm dating you and you're constantly bringing up like my social media presence or like saying the celebrity thing, like that weirds me out. Yeah. Because like I just want you to like be like normal, like treat me like a normal person. I'm just a normal person that overshares on the internet. So when they say things like that, it definitely like puts a little like ding in my head. I'm like, ugh, like, and sometimes it's like, well, do you only like me because I have all these followers, or like, you know, are you only like excited about me because of that? Which I don't really think has been the case that often, but it's definitely something that I think about. And like, I try to respect whoever I'm dating or with, which is sometimes hard to do when I do overshare, like, and I overthink things. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't even want to have to double think before I post anything. So why do I even want to date anybody? Because I'm going to naturally. That's just who I am. And then some people are super supportive of it. Like I've had a few people that I've dated that are like absolutely like my biggest cheerleaders, like stuff like that. So there's both sides of it, but some people really just don't. It doesn't bother them. For the most part, I haven't really had that much of an issue. So.
Can we expect another dating wrap up at the end of the year?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like even that I got dumped because of that video.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Which like is fine, because whatever. If you're gonna get mad about something as small as that,
right, then
we are not gonna work.
Right.
Because like we were doing this long distance thing, and like we didn't know each other that well, and he like deleted his TikTok app, and I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I can talk about whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then he re-downloaded it, and I actually brought it up. I was like, he told me that he stalked down my page a little bit, and I said, how far did you go? And he was like, well, how far am I going to run into something that I don't like? And I was like, well, I'm like, it's not that you're not going to like it, but like, and I mentioned him in the video. Like it was like the one where I was like, I'm still seeing him. Yeah. And I made it very apparent that I'm seeing someone and I'm only seeing one someone. So I'm like, I did what I had to do, you know? He felt that it was disrespectful. And I'm just assuming that his brain went to, oh, she banged 15 guys. Like, you know, which, whatever. If that's the way your brain works and you can't understand that not everything is like that, then I don't really want to deal with you anyway, because that's just not the way that the world works. So we'll see. I've only been shockingly on 2 dates this year. Yeah. And I've only been on 2 dates since November of last year, which is like a record for me, because I'm usually like, I love going on dates. I say yes all the, like, I love to meet people. Yeah. And I very rarely go on bad dates. Yeah. Like people ask me like all the time, they're like, what's your worst date ever? I'm like, I can't really think of one. Mm-hmm. The only one that I can think of is that I found out he was married. And I was like, oh, I found out while we were on the date that he was married. So that was not great. But yeah, we'll definitely have to do a dating wrapped again. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be as entertaining as last year, but summer is ahead of us. So
that's right.
I'm ready to start dating again, I think. So. Yes.
Now, how many dates do you need to feel as though you are or are not into someone?
1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll usually, it's more so like I know not first. Okay. I'll know, you're a good person, but like, I don't see this being a thing. Yeah. I might give you another chance just to be fair. But I know pretty early on, and I am very emotional. I'm a Cancer. So like all my friends will tell you, I texted them all one day for a TikTok, and I was like, what's my biggest red flag, like about me? 90% of them said that I fall in love too fast. And I was like, I kind of knew you guys were all going to say this, because it's true. Like, I I reason with that by saying that I see the best in people. That's how I like self-talk all day long. And I'm self-analyzing all the time and just trying to like be a better person. And so I think that I latch onto those good things about people and I focus on those, and I love that. And I love having someone to connect with, and like, you know, I love that aspect. But I do know pretty early on, like, if it's going to turn into a long-term relationship. I take long-term monogamous relationships very, very seriously. So it is very hard to get to that point with me. Casual dating, sure. Like I do a lot of like 3-month, 4-monthers. Yeah. And I don't dislike the fact that that's what I do. Like I'm still friends with all these people after, right. But because I'm not going to waste your time or mine, you know? But there's nothing wrong with having that connection for a few months and having that person to hang out with. But like, you deserve to find something more. So I'm going to set you free. And I will start over, you know, I'm pretty used to it. Sometimes it sucks, like, you know, but I try to be realistic with dating and like people's time. And, you know, I've unfortunately broken hearts before, and it's the hardest thing to do. Oh, yeah. It is not fun, and I never want to do it again. Right. So anything to prevent getting to that point where I'm really hurting these people is like, I don't know. I try to figure it out relatively early and set the standard. Like, even if I am seeing someone and I don't see it becoming a monogamous relationship, I try to tell them, like, we can still hang out. Like, I'm still, like, enjoying our time. Just keep your expectations to the right standard. You know? Right.
I think that you brought up a great point with talking about how you know very soon or very close to the start. I was talking to a friend and I was just like, yeah, you know, I went on this one. I've done this twice now, and apparently I need to stop. But I've been on with 2 different girls. We had our first date, and then we had like our second. I was just like, I just don't know. I just don't think I'm feeling it. And then so like we did like a third and then a fourth. And my one friend was like, if you don't know by the second, cut it off, because all you're doing is wasting both your time and theirs.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like, I just had this conversation with a guy the other day that, you know, an interest. And he was like, you sound like a guy. And I was like, I mean, I kind of do have a man's mindset, and people aren't used to that. Yes. But I do. I think that dating should be fun, and it doesn't have to be like, this isn't 1910 where like you have to get married by 21. Right. So I don't really get what everyone's such in a rush for to like find that person. I guess like if you want to have kids and stuff like that, I don't know that I want to. So I guess maybe it's a little more laid back for me. But like, not everyone is supposed to be your soulmate. Right. And it's okay as long as you're upfront and honest with people and you're not treating people like shit. Like, date around, do your thing. Like, but like, yeah, definitely don't go on 4 dates if you're not feeling it at the second. I think if you're not feeling it on the second date, it's not going to change. Yeah. Like, if you're not excited to go on a second date with someone, then you deserve to be excited about somebody. Absolutely. That's what the excitement of love is that feeling where it's like, I need to see this person. I need to be around them. Like, it should be exciting. It shouldn't be, oh, they seem like a good person and like it could work out. No, I want fireworks. I want like, you know, unless you're just looking for someone to just spend some time with. But like, if you're looking for like love and you want a relationship, like, it's okay to care about someone, but not have that passion and that fire. And like, you know, it doesn't always turn into that. Right. Can I tell you a story about how I asked someone out? Yeah. Okay, so I'm so glad that you mentioned about putting your first and last name in, because it was around Christmas time. We were at the Christmas bar. I was running out of a drink in my hand, or I was running low on the drink in my hand, and there were 3 girls that I saw on my way to the bar. The 2 on the end had drinks, the one in the middle didn't. I go up to the one in the middle and I said, "Can I buy you a drink?" And her friend pushed her over and said, "Yeah, you can." I'm like, okay, like, you know,
available, So we go up to the bar and we're chit-chatting back and forth as we're waiting for the bartender, and we exchange information, but she only puts in her first name with her phone number in. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But we talked about getting together and going out to Crocker Park in the following week. So I was like, oh, like that was pretty cool. So I was like, okay, now I got to figure out who this girl is. I got to do some investigation work. Yeah. So I wound up like typing in her number on Google. Yeah. Okay. And what wound up popping up was her, what was it? Her first and last name popped up. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I type it in on Facebook, nothing. Yeah. I type it in on Instagram, nothing. Mm-hmm. I type it in on LinkedIn, nothing. Except 4 people down, there was a picture of a girl who looked like her. I clicked on it. It was her. Okay. I click on her profile because it had a different last name. Okay. And I was like, okay. Same first name, different last name. Yeah. It is literally her in the picture. I type it in on Facebook. She's literally married with 2 kids.
No. Yes. See, and that is why, like, I'm kind of glad, like, that we have social media to do that, because, like, people are awful, and you want to know what you're getting yourself into. And, like, from a woman's perspective, like, I want to see things about you before I, like, go meet a stranger or, like, whatever. But that is wild. Yeah. And that's why, that's another reason why I do put my first and last name, because I don't want you to think I have nothing to hide. Yeah. Like, you're going to find me anyway. It is so easy to find me. Like, and I make it that way. You know what? I fully make it easy to find me. I tag my job, which is kind of scary sometimes, but that's a whole different story. But, like, especially like at the bar, if I meet somebody, all you have to do is go click Velvet Dog, or I tell you I work at Velvet Dog. I'm all over that page. Right. Like, so she definitely went out of her way to, like, not be found.
I know.
Interesting.
I know. Which at that point it was just like, I mean, I don't know. It was like, I was buying her a drink, but it's like, no one owes you anything just for having someone buying you a drink.
Right.
So.
And it didn't have to turn into a date, even if, like, she could have just been like, thanks for the drink, I'm married. Did you get up going out?
No.
Oh, good.
No. I saw that and I was like, no, it's probably best for me to stay away.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, weird.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's just, dating's interesting. What I'd really like to do is, I think, kind of like a subset from this podcast that we've got going on. I'd love to, like, do some bit of a dating show. Yeah. And I was thinking maybe having, like, one person and, it being kind of like bachelor/bachelorette style. So we've got, like, one girl, and then maybe we've got, like, 3 guys. Mm-hmm. And then there's, like, a speed texting round. Yeah. And then there's, like, a voice chat, like a, talking on the phone speed round. Yeah. And then there's, like, the in-person side of it. Yeah. And then ultimately she winds up choosing someone that she wants to go on a date with.
Yeah, I think that'd be so fun. And I really think that it'd be fun to have something like that in Cleveland. Yes. Because I feel like, as much as Cleveland is shit on for, like, being, like, bad, it's great. And, like, we have so many amazing people here and so much creativity and opportunity that, like, of course you have, like, your LA, your New York, all that. But I feel like we are so slept on. Yes. Last year I actually was going to date through the alphabet. I only got to C. And then I was like, I don't really know, like, how I feel about this. I have a really hard time, like, letting people down and disappointing people. Mm-hmm. So going on these dates where, it's a great date. Yeah. But then I'm like, all right, but the whole point of this is, like, I'm supposed to be, like, dating 26 different people. So, like, I'm really sorry. So, like, that aspect, I'm like, I still kind of have to figure that out. Yeah. But people were all about it. Oh, yeah. Like, they were like, we should create a movie about this, or like a show. And I'm like, I would do the whole, like, I would talk about the whole thing on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, no, just do that. And, like, someone's going to pick it up. Yeah. So we'll see. Like, stuff like that I think is super fun. Like, it's just different. Yeah. Like, why not?
And to your point, with your thing, it would pop off, because there was some guy who was, I think, going on a date in every state.
Yeah, I saw a girl do that too, yeah. And she had so much fun.
Right.
And I'm like, see, it doesn't always have to be so serious. Like, you're just meeting people, and maybe number 50 was the one, you know,
Right.
who knows?
Right.
But
Or
I think that'd be
circle back
fun.
to
You should
2
do
or
that.
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to get a few of the people from the girls' room
Yeah.
to be contestants on
Yeah,
it.
definitely. I got you.
Well, we've talked about so much today, and the whole time you've been smiling. So aside or maybe including everything that we have talked about, ultimately, I'd love to ask, what makes Rebecca smile?
I like I said, really like just human interaction and human connection, and being able to feel like I'm able to be myself, and then feel like I give off the energy that you're able to be yourself with me as well. There's nothing more that makes me happy than people feeling comfortable to be able to express themselves and be themselves. I think that that's a rarity. Everyone's always, you know, overthinking, or what are they saying about me, or does this look perfect, and whatever. And I feel like the feedback from the people in my life means, like, what they say is I'm doing a good job of what I'm trying to do, like with that human interaction and the connections that I get to make. So yeah, that, I guess.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on today. I had so much fun today.
Same. Thank you.
Good luck with all of your endeavors. Keep us posted with what's next, because I know that there will be something that comes after even everything that you've already done. Definitely. Congratulations on your success so far, and we look forward to keeping up with you.
Thank you.
Aside from that, where can people find you to continue to follow all of these cool things that you're doing?
So everything social media wise is just under like my first and last name. So if you search Rebecca Maxwell, I'm going to pop up. And then One Thrift is all spelled out on Instagram, and the girls' room. Everything's linked in my personal bio. So anything that I do business-wise, you can find in my personal bios and stuff.
Awesome. And I'll do all the copy and pasting into the description of this video. Once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.